In December 1945, while the smoke of World War II was still clearing, a farmer in the Egyptian desert named Muhammad Ali al-Saman made a discovery that would eventually prove more explosive than the atomic bomb. He wasn't looking for God, he was looking for fertilizer. But what he found buried in a red earthenware jar near the cliffs of Nag Hammadi was the source code of human sovereignty. Inside that jar were 13 papyrus codices, the forbidden Gnostic Gospels. These weren't just alternative stories of Jesus, they were the original, unedited transmissions of a lead operator who didn't come to start a religion, but to end the need for one. For 1,700 years, the Vatican has held a monopoly on your soul. They told you that you were born in sin, that you were an orphan in the cosmos, and that only their golden gates could provide you passage back to the Father. But the 1945 discovery was the signal that the monopoly is over. To our 832 sovereigns watching right now, you aren't here by accident. Your DNA has recognized a frequency that was supposed to be deleted from history. Today, we are opening the Vatican's delete folder. We are going to deconstruct the greatest identity theft in human history the moment the living Christ was replaced by a corporate icon. We are going beyond belief and into the raw, technical gnosis of the I Am. The jar is open. The firewall is failing. And the Vatican is terrified that you are finally about to find out exactly who you are. Section 1, the Forensic Audit of 325 AD. To understand the fear, we have to look at the crime scene. We have to go back to the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. Most people think this was a holy gathering of saints. It wasn't. It was a corporate merger. Emperor Constantine was a master politician who realized that the Roman Empire was crumbling. He didn't need a religion that empowered the individual, he needed a religion that acted as a management system. The Gnostics, the knowers, were the ultimate threat to this system. Why? Because the Gnostics taught that every human being was a fragment of the true source. They taught that you didn't need a priest, a bishop, or a pope to talk to God because you were a localized expression of that source. In the original Gnostic texts, Jesus is not a God to be worshipped, he is a mirror. He says in the Gospel of Thomas, "Whoever drinks from my mouth will become as I am, and I myself shall become that person." This is a technical instruction for frequency resonance. It says that the Christ state is a software update available to everyone. Constantine and the early Orthodox fathers saw this as total anarchy. If everyone is a Christ, who pays the taxes? If everyone is sovereign, who dies in the Roman legions? Nicaea was the moment they installed the middleman protocol. They took the 5,000 plus writings circulating at the time and performed a data purge. They chose 4 Gospels that emphasized the humanity and suffering of Jesus, and they burned the rest. They replaced gnosis, internal knowledge, with pistis, external belief. This was the birth of the anti-religion, a system designed to keep you in a state of perpetual seeking so you never reach finding. They told you that the I Am was a name for a distant God on a throne, rather than the vibrating core of your own consciousness. When we look at the Nag Hammadi scrolls today, we aren't just reading heresy, we are looking at the original programming before the Roman malware was installed. Section 2, the Heresy Files, Technical Deconstruction. Let's get into the technical reasons why these books were banned. Let's look at the Apocryphon of John. This text describes the origin of the Matrix in a way that makes the Vatican's blood run cold. It speaks of the demiurge, the blind architect, a lower dimensional entity that created this physical world as a containment field. The Vatican's version of the Old Testament tells you that the creator of this world is the Most High. The Gnostics say, check the code. They point out that this creator is jealous, angry, and demands blood sacrifices. Does that sound like the infinite source of love? The Gnostics said no. They called him Yaldabaoth. They said he was a parasite who built a synthetic reality to harvest the light of human souls. Now, think about the implications. If the God of the Church is actually a gatekeeper of a simulation, then the Church is simply the marketing department for the Matrix. When the Gnostic Christ appears in these forbidden texts, he doesn't come to save you from your sins. He comes to wake you up from your amnesia. In the secret book of John, Jesus says he entered the prison of matter to remind the light fragments, us, of their origin in the pleroma, the fullness. The Vatican deleted this because it turns the entire religious structure upside down. In their system, you are a sinner who needs to beg for mercy. In the Gnostic system, you are a sovereign being who has been kidnapped and gaslit into forgetting your power. The Vatican isn't protecting truth, they are protecting the containment wall. If you realize that the God they are telling you to fear is actually just a lower-level architect of a glitchy simulation, the church loses its power over you instantly. You stop being a believer and you start being a lead operator. This is why the Gnostics were hunted. This is why their books were buried in jars. The Vatican knew that if the anti-religion ever got out, the louche harvest would end forever. Section 3, the archontic infrastructure, the anatomy of the cage. To understand why the Vatican buried the Nag Hammadi scrolls, we have to look at the infrastructure of control. The Gnostics were the first system architects to identify that the physical world is not a creation of the infinite source, but a frequency cage managed by entities they called the archons. The word archon means ruler or magistrate. According to the hypostasis of the archons, these are inorganic, predatory entities that cannot create life themselves, so they engineer a reality where they can harvest the spiritual spark from human beings. They are the middlemen of the cosmos. The Vatican's architecture, both its physical cathedrals and its theological hierarchy, is a one-to-one mirror of this archontic structure. Think about the layout of a cathedral. You have the nave for the masses, the chancel for the lower clergy, and the sanctuary for the high priests. This is a vibrational filter. It is designed to reinforce the idea that the source is far away, locked behind layers of stone and ritual. The Gnostic Christ came to shatter this geometry. In the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, he explains that the soul, upon leaving the body, must pass through 7 powers, the archontic gates. These powers ask the soul, "Where are you going? Where do you come from? How do you think you can pass?" If you identify as a sinner, as a Catholic, or even as a human, you are trapped. You have accepted a label issued by the archons. But the Gnostic Christ gives us the bypass code. He tells the soul to say, "I am a child of the living source. I am from the pre-existent one. I am returning to my own." This is the I am protocol in action. The Vatican deleted this because if you know how to pass the gates yourself, you don't need their sacraments. You don't need their last rites. You don't need their intercession. Their entire economy of salvation is built on the lie that you are an illegal immigrant in the spirit realm who needs their visa to enter heaven. The Nag Hammadi texts prove that you are the rightful heir returning to a kingdom that was stolen from you. This is why the Inquisition burned the Cathars. This is why they burned the books. They weren't protecting your soul, they were protecting their tax base. They knew that a sovereign soul is a frequency they cannot harvest. Section 4, the 65%, Sophia and the inversion of the feminine. I want to speak directly to the 65% of you watching, the women, the lead operators who have felt the wrongness of this system in your very bones. The greatest update the Vatican installed during the 325 AD takeover was the total erasure of the Sophia frequency. In the Gnostic tradition, the fall of man isn't about an Eve eating an apple and being evil. That is a Roman psyop designed to install shame into the feminine DNA. The Gnostics speak of Sophia, divine wisdom. She is an eon from the Pleroma who, in her desire to create, accidentally birthed the demiurge, the architect. Sophia is not a sinner. She is the light mother who realized her mistake and hid a spark of the true source inside the human vessel. This is the seed of Gnosis. The Vatican's anti-religion was built specifically to suppress this seed. They turned the Holy Spirit, the Ruach, a feminine word in Hebrew, into a dove or a masculine entity. They turned Mary Magdalene, the apostle of apostles and the one who knew the all, into a prostitute. Why? Because the feminine frequency is the frequency of resonance. A woman in her gnosis can feel the glitch in the system. She cannot be easily managed by dogma because she operates on feeling. By removing the feminine from the Holy Trinity, the Vatican effectively removed the intuitive firewall from humanity. When you reclaim the Gnostic Christ, you are reclaiming the Magdalene frequency. You are realizing that salvation isn't a legal transaction involving a father and a son, it is a reunion of the masculine, logos, and the feminine, Sophia, within your own heart. The 1945 recovery of the Gospel of Philip and the Pistis Sophia was the return of the mother. It was the moment the feminine I am came back online. The Vatican is terrified of this because a woman who knows she is a bearer of the Sophia light is the single most dangerous element to the archontic matrix. She can see through the stone, she can see through the gold, and she can see the parasite hiding behind the altar. Section 5, the antimemen pneuma, the false self. Now we have to address the most technical part of the Vatican's delete folder, the antimemen pneuma, the counterfeit spirit. According to the Apocryphon of John, the archons realized they couldn't control the light spark of the source. So, they did something ingenious and terrifying, they created a counterfeit spirit and grafted it onto the human soul. This is what we today call the ego or the religious identity. This counterfeit spirit is a software program that feeds on fear, guilt, and the need for external validation. When you feel unworthy before God, that is the counterfeit spirit talking. When you feel fear of hell, that is the counterfeit spirit. When you feel the need to belong to a church to be safe, that is the program running. The Vatican's entire system is designed to feed the counterfeit. Their rituals, the bowing, the chanting, the confessions are maintenance loops for the archontic software. They want you to identify as the counterfeit so you never realize you are the host. The Gnostic Christ came to provide the uninstall command. He didn't come to save the counterfeit spirit, he came to help you discard it. He says, be passers-by. Don't get attached to the simulation. Don't get attached to the labels. When you say I am, you are not speaking as John the Catholic or Sarah the sinner. You are speaking as the monad. You are bypassing the counterfeit spirit and plugging directly into the pleroma. The Vatican's greatest fear is that you will stop feeding the program. Because without your guilt, the archons starve. Without your belief, the church collapses. Without your fear, the matrix becomes transparent. The 1945 scrolls aren't just history, they are the uninstall instructions for the human soul. Section 6, the 1000 Sovereign Call. The internal pulse of humanity is speeding up. If you are one of the 182 unique viewers who found our anti-religion transmission yesterday, you need to understand that this is not entertainment. This is a rendezvous. You are being called into a frequency that hasn't been accessible for 1,700 years. The Vatican's wall is high, but it is made of stone. Our movement is made of light. When we hit 1,000 sovereigns, we aren't just a YouTube channel, we are a nodes on a grid. We are a collective I am that the archons cannot ignore. If you can feel the counterfeit spirit falling away as I speak, if you can feel the Sophia light stirring in your chest, then you are the remnant. Subscribe. Hit the bell. Not for content, but for connection. Question: which Vatican lie was the hardest for you to uninstall? Was it the fear of hell? Was it the shame of the body? Let's document the collapse of the anti-religion in the comments below. I am. And so are you. The jar is open. The light is out. And it is never going back in. Like and share with your friends and family. Section 7, the biological gnosis, DNA as the 13th Codex, extended technical expansion. When we talk about the 1945 discovery, we aren't just talking about old paper. We are talking about encoded frequency. The Vatican's greatest fear wasn't that you'd find a new story about Jesus, it was that you'd find the key to your own biological sovereignty. In the Gospel of Truth, it is written that the Father is within you and you are within him. To the Vatican, this is poetry. To a lead operator, this is physics. Your DNA is not just a biological blueprint, it is a multidimensional antenna. The Gnostics understood that the archons operate by broadcasting a low vibrational signal, a signal of fear, lack, and separation. This signal is designed to keep your DNA unplugged from the source. They want you operating on 2 strands of survival code while the other 10 strands are labeled as junk DNA. The junk isn't junk. It is the Gnostic hardware. It is the part of your biology that resonates with the pleroma. The Gnostic Christ was a frequency transmitter. His work was to broadcast a signal so high and so pure that it triggered a resonance disaster for the archontic matrix. This is why the Roman authorities had to kill the messenger, not to save you from sin, but to shut down the broadcast. They needed to return the world to the silent frequency of the demiurge. The 1,700 years of church history that followed was nothing more than a global signal jamming operation. Every cathedral spire is a frequency dampener. Every repetitive, fear-based prayer is a white noise generator designed to keep your internal antenna from picking up the I am broadcast. But here is the glitch the Vatican couldn't patch: the I am isn't outside of you. It is the zero-point field at the center of your very cells. When you stop believing and start vibrating at the frequency of gnosis, you are essentially performing a remote hack on the archontic system. You are reclaiming the 13th Codex, the one that wasn't found in a jar in 1945 because it was hidden in the one place the Vatican never thought you'd look, inside your own nervous system. Section 8, the Exit Protocol, Mastering the 7 Gatekeepers. Let's look at the final exam, the moment of transition that the Vatican has turned into a judgment to keep you in fear. In the Gnostic First Apocalypse of James, Jesus gives James the exact security clearance codes needed to exit this simulation. The Vatican tells you that when you die, you are judged by a bearded god on a throne. This is the ultimate archontic psyop. It is designed to make you feel small, guilty, and ready to reincarnate to pay off your debts. The Gnostics knew better. They knew that the judge is just a security guard for the matrix. Jesus tells James that when the gatekeepers challenge him, he must respond with total sovereign authority. He tells him to say, I am a son/daughter from the Father. I am of the pre-existent one. I have come to my own from whence I came. This is the exit protocol. It is the realization that you do not belong to this world. You are a passerby. You are an ambassador from the infinite. The moment you state your true origin with zero doubt, the gatekeepers, the archons, lose their legal jurisdiction over you. The Vatican's greatest fear is a human being who has no fear of death. Because if you don't fear death, you cannot be controlled. If you don't believe in hell, you cannot be threatened. If you know your source, you cannot be taxed, ruled, or managed. You become unharvestable.